Part 2. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. Have you been very unlucky lately? After hearing Pei Anzu's words, Sister Song's face seemed to be impatient. She remembered that the girl's grandfather was a Taoist priest. Having worked hard in society for so many years, she has met many such people. She likes to talk about metaphysical methods, but they are actually liars who deceive people. After all, there are many people in the entertainment industry who believe in this, but no one has become famous by relying on this trick, and they all follow the rules of the industry. Either you can accumulate a lot of money by playing a small role, or you can go all out to find a backer. So she advised Pei Anzu. I see that you are young and you don't behave as if you haven't read a book. You'd better find a job and do something serious, and don't follow your Taoist grandfather's deceitful ways. Don't blame me for speaking harshly. My sister has been hanging out in society since she was 18 years old. You can't catch my eye with your tricks. Pei Anzu could hear that although Sister Song's words were full of deep distrust, they did not contain any malice, they just sounded sharp. If it weren't for Sister Song's appearance and that she was a decent person, even if it was for money, she would not take the initiative to help Zhu Yanzhou and provoke this karma. Pei Anzu always likes to speak with facts. She glanced at the top of Sister Song's head and asked, Sister Song, let's not mention whether I am a liar or not. Don't you think you have been unlucky recently? Not just you, but also the people around you, including the best actor Zhu Yanzhou, his assistant, and others in the team. In the past half month, have bad things often happened to you? Sister Song was slightly stunned after hearing this, and subconsciously followed Pei Anzu's words to recall what happened in the past half month. In the past 3 months, Zhu Yanzhou has been filming on the set of Death. The city scenes were shot in the first 2 months. They were filmed at the film and television base in Machan and other rented office buildings. This month, they moved to Pingcheng to shoot the mountain scenes. Zhu Yanzhou values this drama very much. This is another masterpiece that he is competing for awards again. Therefore, in order to keep him in the best condition at all times, Sister Song led the team to follow him to Pingcheng, trekked through mountains and rivers, and stayed on the set to take care of him. It was fine at first. I don't know when the team members started to have bad luck. First, there was the makeup artist in the team. She accidentally fell down and hit her right hand on a sharp stone, causing a big on her wrist. Due to an injury to her hand, she was temporarily unable to put on makeup for Zhu Yanzhou, so her apprentice could only do it. But the apprenticeship was not good enough, so in the last period, Zhu Yanzhou's makeup was slightly crotch-stretching, which seriously affected the director's lens language. Later, he was Zhu Yanzhou's assistant. He suffered from food poisoning due to eating 2 mutually incompatible things. He suffered from vomiting and diarrhea and had to lie in bed for 3 days before he recovered. As for Sister Song herself, she wasn't much better. The mobile phone was dropped and soaked in water. While walking well on the road, I was bitten by a snake. I am allergic to unknown flowers and plants in the mountains. My face is red and swollen. It will take a week to recover. Finally, Zhu Yanzhou finished filming the scenes in the mountains and felt that he could finally leave this hellish place, but he got into a car accident on the way down the mountain. Zhu Yanzhou fell into coma on the spot and has not woken up yet, but the doctor could not find any problems. The internet is filled with news that Zhu Yanzhou is seriously injured and dying and is about to die. The resources she has negotiated have been cut off one by one. No matter how she tries to save her, it seems to be of no avail. It can be said that both Zhu Yanzhou's career and her own career are facing huge difficulties. Thinking about it this way, it seems really unlucky. Pei Anzu has been paying attention to Sister Song's face. When he saw her expression relax slightly, he knew in his heart that he was right. Sister Song was very defensive, but she still didn't believe Pei Anzu so easily. She struggled for a moment, composed herself, and explained forcefully. A lot of things have happened recently, but this is normal. When filming in the mountains, the environment is inherently difficult. There are many snakes, insects, rats, and ants, and the roads are not easy to walk. Bumps are inevitable. I don't think that if you say I've been very unlucky recently, I will fall into your trap and fall into your trap. After all, if you take it seriously, your words are suitable for most people. No one's life is smooth sailing. How can there not be a few bad things? Sorry, I'll leave first when we get to the first floor. After saying this, the elevator door opened and Sister Song walked out on high heels. Her face returned to its usual calmness, as if those bad things never existed. Pei Anzu looked at her back, shrugged, and did not catch up. As a young genius, she was arrogant. She was always the only one who begged her to take action, not the ones she humbly licked. In order to earn medical expenses for the old Taoist priest, she had already lowered her profile and took the initiative once. Sister Song doesn't appreciate it, and she doesn't force it. After all, this kind of thing also depends on fate. When fate comes, the money she earns will naturally come back. Sister Song returned to the hotel. After the car accident, Zhu Yanzhou was sent to the hospital in a coma and has not come out yet. She asked the rest of the team to return to Mo City first, leaving only Zhu Yanzhou's assistant Xiaoman to live with her in the hotel, waiting for Zhu Yanzhou to wake up. Xiaoman is a 25-year-old young girl who is good at cooking and can cook well. It was precisely because of this that she was able to stay with Zhu Yanzhou. Sister Song opened the hotel room door with her room card and shouted. The next second, I saw Xiaoman coming over with one foot and jumping up and down. Sister Song frowned and asked. What's going on here? Sister Song, I saw that you had been in the hospital for so long, and I was afraid that you might not have eaten, so I wanted to make you something to eat, but I didn't expect that the pot in the kitchen exploded. Xiaoman said in a somewhat aggrieved tone. The hot water in the pot spilled out. It splashed on my feet and I didn't have time to hide. Sister Song. It's so special that Li Liyuan is on the score. The pot exploded. It's really funny, this is the only 6-star hotel in Pingcheng, and everything inside is very safe. Moreover, they live in a penthouse suite. The small kitchen is rarely used and all the pots are new. The most important thing is, this is an iron pot. Result. Exploded. Sister Song felt that her mentality was about to explode. No one in the entire team was worried. I originally thought that if I left Xiaoman behind, she could make some nutritious meals to replenish Zhu Yanzhou's health when Zhu Yanzhou woke up, but she didn't expect that she would become a wounded person herself. The car accident left her with no arms or legs, but she cooked a meal and burned herself to a lameness. Xiaoman looked at Sister Song uneasily and said weakly. Sister Song, I have something to say, don't be angry after saying it. What do you want to say? Sister Song asked. I feel that we are all very unlucky recently. Is Mercury retrograde? I heard that there is a Taoist temple on the mountain on the outskirts of Pingcheng. There is a ceremony to ward off disasters and pray for blessings. I want to go and pay my respects. Xiaoman said. How do you feel? End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 12. Chapter 12 follow-up to the first live broadcast. This is the second time today that Sister Song has heard someone say the word unlucky. She looked at the burned Xiaoman and asked with a tangled expression. Do you really think it will be useful if we go to pray to God and worship Buddha? Xiaoman, I never put my hope in these illusory things. Xiaoman also knew Sister Song's character, so he said coquettishly. Oh, Sister Song, no matter whether it's useful or not, I still want to seek comfort in my heart. Sister Song had no choice but to nod. It's okay to go, but your legs and feet are inconvenient. I'll drive with you in a few days. I have to go back to Machen in the past 2 days to deal with the Joe's endorsement matters. Several endorsements have been cut off, and she can't just let it go. Seeing that Sister Song had agreed, Xiaoman nodded with satisfaction. After Pei Anzu returned to Shiyungan, he immediately logged into the backstage of Dolphin Live. Kui Yun promised that he would go through the process for her immediately. So she gave it a try, and she was able to withdraw cash in the background. The more than 3,000 yuan was divided into 28 proportions, and she could get 80% of it, which amounted to more than 2,500 yuan. Withdrawal, review, payment, and arrival are all very fast. Pei Anzu looked at the growing balance in his bank card and breathed a sigh of relief. Facts have proved that making money through live broadcasts is feasible. At this moment, she suddenly received a lot of private messages in the background. Many people she didn't know sent her messages, and the red number representing unread messages increased rapidly, and soon became 999 plus. Pei Anzu clicked through curiously and found that many of them were familiar ids. Most of them were people who cheered her up in her live broadcast room when she did her first live broadcast, so she started to read the private messages one by one. When will the anchor start the second live broadcast? King Zizianjun, when will it be broadcast? All the flowers I have been waiting for are withered. Start the broadcast, start the broadcast, start the broadcast soon. I want to see your fortune told. Don't make me kneel down and beg you. Anchor, you are popular. Now Weibo, Xiaofenshu, Alphabet, and Douyin are all screenshots of your live broadcast clips. Why don't you start broadcasting now? Do you need me to rush you to make money? King Zizianjun, I see that the status of your personal homepage has changed to signed. Have you signed with the Dolphin live broadcasting platform? Can I see you live fortune telling every day in the future? After watching the news, I came here to follow you just to say 666 to you. Depend on. You really have a lot of brushes. I thought it was a gimmick before, but after reading the news, I realized that I was superficial. If nothing else, I just wanted to ask when it will be broadcast. Give me some time so I can grab a spot. Anchor, leave me a fortune-telling spot. Pei Anzu looked at these private messages and extracted several key information from them. It seems that the clips of her live fortune-telling were spread to other platforms and even made the news, causing a sensation. Soon, she logged into the original owner's Weibo and started checking it out as the netizens said. As soon as the hot search interface was opened, 2 messages with the word explosion in bright red appeared. The academic fraud case at T University is tentatively scheduled to open at Kangchang Court at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and the plaintiff Wang is confirmed to appear in court. Hashtag Yunqing Police Department announced the police information. CAO, a serial murderer who had been on the run for 23 years, has been arrested. Thanks to the King Zixianjun live broadcast room for providing effective information. Hashtag Pei Anzu clicked in and looked at each one. The first is the academic fraud case. Chen Qinghe, Chen Lin, and other people involved in the case were caught on the spot by the police while conducting transactions at the Zhejiang Moon Club. The scene was too outrageous, involving not only bribery transactions, but also drugs. There is absolutely no room for argument. Even if there is no academic fraud, the crimes committed by those people are enough to keep them in the bureau for a long time. However, these people are not hardcore. After being caught at the police station, in order to shirk responsibility, he confessed everything at once before the police could use interrogation methods. The facts of the case are clear, the evidence is conclusive, the progress is rapid, and the case will soon enter the trial stage. Wang Cheng, this big wretch who was once about to be driven to death, is finally about to see his own dawn. Another serial murder case. Yunqing Police Department wrote in detail the process of catching the serial murderer CAO and the subsequent finalization of the case in the police report. That day, Officer Du received a report from an enthusiastic citizen, King Zhuxianjun, and led his men to the south gate of Wutong community on Zuk Street, where he arrested a middle-aged man named Zhu Yongming. The man was carrying a mountaineering bag and a large amount of cash and jewelry. When he saw the police, he dodged his eyes and tried to avoid them. But he could not escape the police's instinct and was captured on the spot. Through DNA comparison, blood sample comparison and fingerprint comparison, it was confirmed that the man was the mastermind of the Yunqian East Trade Bank robbery 23 years ago. 23 years ago, Cao was in a state of poverty due to unemployment, and his wife also disliked him for being hopeless. In order to obtain a huge amount of money, he teamed up with several homeless people to rob the East Trade Bank. After succeeding, he brutally murdered his accomplices and absconded with the huge sum of money. Before absconding, his whereabouts were discovered by his wife. In order to protect himself, he killed his wife again. However, the police quickly identified the suspect as Cao based on traces from several crime scenes, but Cao seemed to have disappeared from the world and was never seen again. Unexpectedly, after several years of running away, he met Zhu Yongming, who looked similar to himself. Having evil thoughts in his mind, he killed Zhu Yongming and threw his body in the wilderness. He took Zhu Yongming's various documents and replaced the other person's identity. But Zhu Yongming has his own social relationships. In order to prevent Zhu Yongming's relatives and friends from seeing the clues, Cao made a few cuts on his face, then found a plastic surgery hospital, gave the doctor some money, and had plastic surgery. Afterwards, he changed jobs under the name Zhu Yongming and moved away from his original social circle to avoid meeting his former acquaintances. Since then, Cao completely transformed into Zhu Yongming and lived openly in Yunqian. As long as he is careful not to get hurt, not seek medical attention, not expose his DNA and other information, and as long as he is not noticed by the police, he can continue like this. He spent more than 10 years using someone else's identity, without any accidents, and his whole body drifted away. By chance, I saw King Zhu Immortal's fortune-telling live broadcast, and I wanted to try this trick to see if I could discover his true identity. Unexpectedly, this time I kicked down the iron plate and hit something hard. The police report was written in great detail. After reading the whole process, Pei Anzu couldn't help but admire the efficiency of the police in Yunqian and Kangcheng. She used the original owner's account to like these two news items. Subsequently, she registered another account and named it Dolphin Live Broadcast King Zhuxianjun. Retweeted these two pieces of news and announced the time of the next live broadcast. 3 days later at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Dolphin platform King Zhu Fairy Lord will be waiting for you in the live broadcast room. Up to 3 hexagrams will be counted, first come, first served. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 13. Chapter 13. Guests come to your door. Yunqian Police Department sent the bonus to Pei Anzu. Chao, a serial robbery and murderer with a vicious nature, has been on the run for more than 20 years, and the reward gradually increases as time goes by. The total accumulated up to now is 380,000 yuan. After tax was deducted from this money, there was still more than 300,000 in Pei Anzu's account. She went to the hospital immediately, gave the old Taoist priest 150,000 yuan, and told the nurse to use the best medicine to make the old Taoist priest recover as soon as possible. After leaving the hospital, she went to Pingcheng for a walk around and did a few things along the way. First, she went to a car repair shop. In that car accident, the broken-down second-hand van driven by the old Taoist priest collided with Zhu Yanzhou's luxury nanny car, and both of them rolled down the cliff. After the police dealt with the scene, both vehicles were towed away for repairs. Pei Anzu has to commute between the hospital and Shiyungan almost every 2 days. It is completely inconvenient without a car. Plus, now that she has money, she wants to buy a new car. So she went to the car repair shop, depreciated the old second-hand bread and sold it. Immediately after that, I bought a mobility SUV worth 70,000 to 80,000 yuan in full at the car sales store next to me. After completing the formalities, I drove away directly. Fortunately, the original owner passed the driving license test when he was in college. Pei Anzu inherited the memory of the original owner and was no stranger to driving. Although he was a little unfamiliar at first, he quickly adapted to it. After having a car, it was much more convenient, so Pei Anzu went to the supermarket. She bought some daily necessities. Although she has taken over the body of the original owner, she is two different people from the original owner after all. That's fine with other things, but for personal items such as underwear and toothbrushes and towels, she still had to buy new ones, otherwise she would always feel uncomfortable. In addition, she also bought some rice, flour, grains, oils, and various ingredients. Because she planned to settle down in Shiyungan for the time being. She is not the original owner. Even though he has the memory of the original owner and knows everything he learned in college, he has no intention of engaging in the job chosen by the original owner. Staying in the same profession and live streaming fortune-telling not only makes money fast, but also provides freedom. What's more, the old Taoist priest was still lying in the hospital. In this case, she couldn't leave the old Taoist priest alone in Pingcheng and go elsewhere. So, Pei Anzu has resigned from the job he was interviewing for in the name of the original owner. She had to stay in Shiyun Temple until the old Taoist priest completely recovered. It is not only convenient to take care of the old Taoist priest nearby, but at the same time, there are many ancient books left by the ancestors of the old Taoist priests in this Taoist temple, which also facilitates her to understand the Taoist situation in this world. Finally, she went to an ancient street in Pingcheng. There are many shops in the ancient street, with blue bricks and black tiles, antique style, the shop names are all authentic plaques, and lanterns are hung on both sides. The road is paved with bluestone slabs. As soon as you step inside, you feel as if you have traveled through time and space and across eras. Pei Anzu didn't come here just to see new things like foreign tourists, nor did he go to various antique shops to pick up items like those treasure hunters. She went straight to her destination, found a store selling cinnabar and yellow paper, and bought a lot of raw materials for drawing symbols. After all, how could a mature master of metaphysics not know how to draw talismans? After the purchase was completed, Pei Anzu spent the bonus he had just received in his hand, leaving only tens of thousands of yuan in his hand for emergency purposes. But she didn't care. The old Taoist priest has enough money to stay in the ICU for the time being, and she will definitely have income before the next renewal. Pei Anzu drove back to Shiyungan with a lot of things he had just bought. She tidied up the original owner's room again, moved the location according to her own habits, and set up a spirit gathering array in the room before she was completely settled. 2 days later, Pei Anzu got up early in the morning and wanted to clean the front steps of Shiyungan. But she habitually counted with her fingers and immediately smiled. Happy opening today, there are guests coming. She turned around and made a pot of tea, then sat at the stone table in the courtyard in front of the court, waiting for the guests to arrive. Shiyungan is located on a mountain more than 200 meters above sea level. There are lush trees on the mountain, dense and lush, with branches growing wildly, full of wild charm. Directly under the gate of Shiyun Temple is a long stone staircase. Meandering up from the foot of the mountain, passing through the dense trees in the mountain, looking from a distance, it looks like a winding path leading to a quiet place. If someone stands at the foot of the mountain and looks up, he can see the looming bluestone steps hidden among the trees, as well as the ancient Taoist temple that has mostly hidden its true appearance. It is low-key and mysterious, with the clouds and mist curling in, like a fairyland. There were two people in the forest, climbing up the steps. Two ladies came. One of them seemed to have an injury on her leg and was supported by another person before she could barely climb the steps. After wasting some effort, the two finally stepped into the gate of Shiyungan. Pei Anzu looked at the visitor and said hello with a smile. Meet again. That's right, it's Sister Song and Xiaoman who are here. Sister Song looked at Pei Anzu in astonishment, unable to control the surprise on her face. Why you? Pei Anzu nodded and said jokingly. Of course it's me. Sister Song didn't expect it. She avoided me a few days ago, but now she comes to my door. Sister Song was speechless for a moment. She also didn't expect that the Taoist temple Xiaoman mentioned was actually the site where the old Taoist priest was located. Xiaoman didn't know the past between Sister Song and Pei Anzu, so he took the initiative and said, Miss, we are here to worship God. Don't worry, we know the rules and will donate incense money according to the normal procedures. I wonder if you can take us there. Hearing this, Pei Anzu smiled even more heartily. Worship God, you might as well worship me. God may not bless you, but I can solve your problems. Xiaoman looked at Pei Anzu in shock, wondering why this young lady was suddenly so arrogant. Pei Anzu seemed to have noticed her thoughts and asked. What? Your sister Song didn't tell you, did I? Remind her. Since you are here, it means that you are at the end of your rope, with the mentality of treating a dead horse as a living horse doctor, and choose to seek psychological comfort by praying to gods and Buddhas. Am I right? Sister Song looked serious and looked at Xiaoman. They saw a hint of wavering in each other's eyes, and a desire to give it a try. If it's just bad luck, that's it. But the key point is that Zhu Yanzhou never woke up after being comatose in a car accident. The doctor conducted a comprehensive examination on Zhu Yanzhou. From head to toe, inside and out, there was no damage at all, and no cause could be found. The day after tomorrow is the cover shoot for Charming Man. If Zhu Yanzhou doesn't wake up, the resources he finally saved will be wasted. It is very likely that because of his missed appointment this time, the fashion industry will also criticize him in the future. Pei Anzu looked at Sister Song and Xiaoman's expressions and made an invitation gesture. Would you like to sit down and have a chat? End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. Being Cursed. Sister Song and Xiaoman sat down at the stone table. Pei Anzu poured tea for them, and then said, Tell me everything you have encountered. Only when you explain it clearly can I prescribe the right medicine. So, in the following time, Sister Song told everything about the situations that the team had encountered in the past half-month. Occasionally, if there are any omissions, Xiaoman will add them next to them, without missing any details. After listening, Pei Anzu nodded clearly. Zhu Yanzhou has been cursed. A curse, Sister Song and Xiaoman said in unison, with shock on their faces. This was the first time they had heard of such a thing. Pei Anzu patiently explained to them. If I guess correctly, the one in Zhu Yanzhou should be a very common bad luck spell. As the name suggests, people who are under this kind of spell will be unlucky, bringing misfortune to those around them, and as time goes by, the degree of unlucky will deepen until it is life-threatening. The method of casting a bad luck spell is not complicated. You only need any of his hair, nails, or blood, plus some simple mystical methods, and you can succeed. The advantage of this method is that it can kill a person subtly without leaving any trace. When a person under the spell is unlucky at first, he will not think that someone is harming him. He will only think that he has Mercury retrograde and bad luck. When the situation becomes more and more serious, it may be too late by the time he realizes that something is wrong. Just like Zhu Yanzhou. His unlucky days definitely didn't last more than these 2 weeks, but he definitely didn't take it to heart. After all, how can life be completely smooth sailing? No one would feel that someone is going to harm them just because they choked on a mouthful of cold water, right? It was his lack of awareness in the early stage that made Zhu Yanzhou fall into trouble bit by bit like a frog boiled in warm water. And the people around him also became unlucky under the influence of this bad luck. Until this time, I encountered a car accident. Xiaoman suddenly realized after hearing Pei Anzu's explanation. No wonder, those of us who have stayed with Brother Joe for a long time have more unlucky times, while those of us who stay in Mo City are in better condition. Also, when people are unlucky, there is really no way except to admit that they are unlucky. If we hadn't met Master Pei by chance, then we would probably. She didn't finish the rest of the words, but Sister Song understood. I'm afraid that only when Zhu Yanzhou dies quietly can they see any clues from this weird bad luck. Sister Song's face became serious and she asked very directly. I have two questions. First, Master Pei, can you solve a Joe's situation? How long will it take to solve it? Second, from what you say, he must have been harmed like this. Can you help me find the person who harmed him? As expected of a veteran who has worked hard in the entertainment industry, Sister Song's question goes straight to the core. Although she spoke directly, her attitude towards Pei Anzu had changed from distrust to respect. Even though the girl in front of her looks very young, she still uses the honorific title. Pei Anzu smiled so calmly. I don't pay attention to such unfashionable things as bad luck curses. It's just a matter of convenience to try to solve the curse. As for those who harm him, the most important thing in Suanmen is cause and effect. Any means has to pay a price. If I break the curse on Zhu Yanzhou, the caster or the mastermind will definitely suffer the backlash. This kind of backlash is not a small incident, but 100 times 1,000 times. When the time comes, whoever you see will be the most unlucky will be the suspect. After saying this, Sister Song immediately left. She took out a signed check from her bag, handed it to Pei Anzu, and said, "Then please ask Master Pei to help a Joe. I came out in a hurry today, and I didn't think the matter would be so serious. There is not much money here, only 200,000. I originally planned to give the incense money to your Taoist temple. But when a Joe wakes up, I will send a thank you gift to Master Pei again." Pei Anzu pushed the check back. Under Sister Song's stunned eyes, he slowly opened the WeChat payment code. What age is this? How cumbersome is the procedure to return a check? We have to keep pace with the times. I am currently short of money, and I tend to pay more attention to the side dishes. Zhu Yanzhou is an actor. He is worth a lot and earns a lot, so I want 2 million. But don't worry, since I have received the money, I will act according to the rules. Not only will I remove the spell from him, but I will also dispel the bad luck from you guys. This business is done. You will be old customers from now on, and you will have priority with me. Whether it is fortune telling, or drawing talismans to ward off evil spirits, you will be treated favorably. As soon as Pei Anzu opened his mouth, he turned 200,000 into 2 million, a tenfold increase. 2 million is not a small number. The working capital of the studio that Sister Song can mobilize at will is not too much, but it is exactly 2 million. She looked at Pei Anzu's calm and determined eyes, and suddenly wondered, had the young master calculated this point, so he set such a price? Do not care. In this situation, money is not important. What is important is that I hope Yanzhou can wake up and earn back as many as 2 million in the future. What's more, Master Pei is a sincere person. She made her intention of needing money clear and clear, which was much more frank than those who used pretense and deceitful ways to ask for money in various ways. After Sister Song made up her mind, she transferred 2 million to Pei Anzu on the spot, regardless of the deposit or balance. Caring about every detail will inevitably appear stingy and will make people look down on you. Pei Anzu made money and was in a good mood, so he stood up and said, "I'm going to pack some things. After you two finish this cup of tea, we'll set off." 5 minutes later, Pei Anzu locked the door of Shuyungan and took Sister Song and Xiaoman to the back mountain. There was an open space here with an SUV parked on the ground. Xiaoman said in surprise. Can I drive here directly? Had they known that there was a road that could go directly to the mountain behind Shiyun Temple, they would not have parked the car at the bottom of the mountain and then limped up the long stone steps. Pei Anzu smiled and nodded. There is a way up, but most people can't find it, so get in the car. She also discovered it after driving by herself. The location of Shiyungan is very clever. Viewed from the front, it is located halfway up the mountain. You need to climb stone steps to get up. But there is clearly another way down the mountain behind it, and this road is hidden. The hiding here is not simply covered by something, but someone used a blindfold to make people subconsciously ignore the existence of this road. Ordinary people driving up the mountain road will not be able to reach Shiyungan. When they reach the halfway point, they will only feel that there is no way ahead and choose to turn around. But Pei Anzu is not an ordinary person. She saw through the deception at a glance, and then found a shortcut to go up and down the mountain. I just don't know who built this road, and I don't know who set up this deception. Even the old Taoist priests don't seem to know its existence. After all, his own second-hand shabby bread car was always parked at the foot of the mountain and never drove up. Pei Anzu discovered that Shiyun Temple still hides some secrets, but now is not the time to study these secrets. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. Retribution comes so quickly. Pei Anzu took Sister Song and Xiaoman to the foot of the mountain first. Sister Song helped Xiaoman get into their own car, and then the two cars went in tandem to Pingcheng Central Hospital. Zhu Yanzhou lives in the luxurious single ward of the hospital. He is a public figure with a special status. In order to prevent his condition from being leaked and attracting media paparazzi and fans to visit, which would further affect the hospital, his ward was arranged separately on the other side of the corridor. After getting out of the elevator, turn left and go all the way to the end. At the door of the ward stood two bodyguards in black, who also belonged to Zhu Yanzhou's team. This time it was their turn to take a vacation. But the bodyguards accompanying Zhu Yanzhou in the car were all injured in the car accident, so they had to come from Mo City to protect his safety. The so-called protection means standing at the door of the ward as a doorkeeper to prevent any suspicious persons from approaching. Sister Song Xiaodu, one of the bodyguards, saw Sister Song and said hello. How is Ajo doing? Sister Song asked. Xiaodu shook his head, his face solemn. He still hasn't woken up. The doctor came to check on him this morning and checked him again. They still didn't find any problems. They always thought that Mr. Zhu just fell asleep. I understand, Sister Song said calmly. One of you will stand guard at the door and the other at the elevator entrance. Don't let anyone get close, including medical staff. Is this going to? Xiaodu was surprised and unsure. Don't ask too much, I won't harm Ajo, Sister Song said in a solemn tone. Physicians almost all believe in science. If they knew that he had brought a master of metaphysics to break some bad luck spell, he would probably kick them out. What's more, before entering the hospital, Master Pei specifically warned her not to reveal her identity to other unrelated people. Sister Song is naturally unstoppable. With the bodyguards in place, Sister Song walked into the ward with Pei Anzu and Xiaoman, and locked the door, completely cutting off outside sight. It's been a week since the car accident. Sister Song looked at Zhu Yanzhou on the hospital bed with unconcealable worry in her eyes. At first we thought he was injured in a car accident and hit his head, so he fell into a coma. Later, the doctor said he was just asleep. We also thought he was too tired from the continuous filming these days and needed to pass. The way to sleep is to completely relax your body. No matter how relaxed you are, you can't sleep for 7 days and nights without waking up. These days, he relies entirely on nutrient solutions to maintain basic nutrition for his body, and he has lost a lot of weight. Fortunately, The cover theme of Charming Man this time is decadent style, so it doesn't matter if he loses some weight, otherwise he will be awake even if he is awake. Come here, I don't know how to deal with this shooting. Pei Anzu glanced at Zhu Yanzhou and said. It is true that nutrient solution can only maintain basic body functions, but losing weight like this in just 7 days has nothing to do with nutrient solution. There is a black air about him that you ordinary people cannot see. I call it bad luck. These moldy odors shrouded around him, eroding him every moment day and night, passing through every inch of his skin and seeping into his internal organs, limbs, and bones. It would be strange if you don't lose weight and lose your appearance this way. Upon hearing this, Sister Song became anxious and asked. Master Pei, when can we start to remove the curse on him? I'm afraid if this continues, he will really die. You can do it now, Pei Anzu said and walked towards Zhu Yanzhou's hospital bed. Sister Song and Xiaoman held their breath and watched carefully without blinking. They saw Pei Anzu unbuttoning Zhu Yanzhou's shirt and pulling on his body. People who didn't know about it saw her and thought she was a female hooligan who touched a beautiful sleeping man. But the next second, something shocking happened. Pei Anzu stretched out his right hand and grabbed Zhu Yanzhou's chest from a distance, and a thin black line was pulled out from his chest. The moment the black thin line touched the air, it disappeared with a bang. The whole process was incredibly fast. If they hadn't witnessed it with their own eyes, Sister Song and Xiaoman would have almost thought that they were hallucinating. The thread I pulled out just now is the bad luck spell. Pei Anzu looked at the shocked expressions of the two people and thought about the 2 million he had already obtained, so he patiently explained to them. The thread has turned completely black, which proves that the bad luck spell has been lurking on him for a long time and has absorbed most of his vitality. He is lucky to have met me. If it had been a little later, it would have been difficult for the gods to save him. After seeing the scene just now, Sister Song had a great impact on her worldview and became even more convinced of Pei Anzu's abilities. She took a few steps forward and asked. Does this count as breaking the curse? When will he wake up? Pei Anzu didn't say anything. She put the index and middle fingers of her right hand together and drew some symbols in the air that others couldn't understand. Then she punched those symbols between Zhu Yanzhou's eyebrows. He saw a flash of light between Zhu Yanzhou's brows, and the next second he opened his eyes. Wake up, really wake up, Xiaoman became excited. Sister Song also hurried over to take a look. Seeing Zhu Yanzhou's closed eyes slowly opening, her hanging heart was finally relieved, and the uneasiness that had been weighing in her heart for the past few days gradually dissipated. Ajo, you are finally awake, Sister Song sighed with emotion. Sister Song? Xiaoman, Zhu Yanzhou looked at the unfamiliar place with a confused tone. Because he was unconscious for a long time without speaking, his voice was a little hoarse. His memory was still stuck on the moment of the car accident, so he asked. Am I seriously injured in a car accident? How is it going? How long was I unconscious? Are you all okay? I remember that there have been several drafts recently. Are they all delayed? There is also Charming Man. Sister Song heard his series of questions and quickly stopped him. You just woke up, don't be so excited yet, I will tell you these things slowly. Come, let me introduce you to someone first. With that said, she introduced Pei Anzu to Zhu Yanzhou and told him about the bad luck curse from beginning to end, including the popular science about Pei Anzu before. Zhu Yanzhou listened quietly. When he learned that this thing could endanger his life unknowingly, his face changed several times, and his eyes were full of anger. Who wants to harm me? It's not clear yet. Sister Song was talking, but was interrupted by the sudden ringtone of her cell phone. She answered the call easily, and the voice on the other end of the phone was clearly audible in the quiet ward. Sister Song, great news. Wu Yuzhou, who has cut off Brother Hu Zhou's resources in the past few days, fell off the wire during filming today. I heard that the wire broke inexplicably, and he broke his back on the spot. Now the media is chasing him to the hospital. I heard from the gossip that he may be paralyzed after his fall. Sister Song. Okay, now we know who wants to harm Zhu Yanzhou. I didn't expect retribution to come so quickly, let alone that the backlash that Master Pei said would come true so quickly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 16. Chapter 16. Do more good deeds. Sister Song hung up the phone and breathed a sigh of relief. She smiled and said to Pei Anzu. According to Master Pei's previous intention, this Wu Yizhou must be the mastermind behind the murderous attack on our Zhou, right? He is a newcomer who just debuted last year. Since he looks so similar to our Zhou and also has the character Zhou in his name, he has been following our Zhou's popularity all the time since his debut. We started from scratch and worked hard all the way. We didn't want to cut off the newcomer's escape, so we ignored his methods. Who knew he would have such vicious thoughts? During this period, news spread that Zhu Yanzhou was seriously injured in a car accident and was on the verge of death. Many of the originally negotiated partners were worried that Zhu Yanzhou would really die after signing the contract, which would inevitably be bad luck, so they chose a replacement for Zhu Yanzhou to achieve cooperation. Wu Yizhou is this replacement. Originally, everyone thought that all this was a coincidence. It was just because he looked similar to Zhu Yanzhou that these resource pie fell on his head. Unexpectedly, this was Ping Tai's ambition to replace the rightful owner and kill him. After hearing these words, Pei Anzu simply said, "The grudges between you have nothing to do with me, and you don't need to talk to me. I'm only responsible for taking money to do things and help people get rid of disasters. Now that Wu Yizhou is getting backlash, he must know that the bad luck spell he arranged has been broken. In order to prevent him from jumping over the wall and resorting to other tricks, do you want to consider buying a few amulets as backup?" Before Sister Song could speak, Zhu Yanzhou asked first. "What is the function of the amulet?" "Prevent disasters and exorcise evil spirits, and prevent all ghosts from invading," Pei Anzu said. Then he thought that this was a big customer, and explained in more detail. "If it is an ordinary accidental disaster, the amulet can resist 3 times. If someone tries to kill you through occult means, the amulet can block a fatal attack. When danger comes, the amulet will heat up as a warning, as a reminder. When the amulet expires, it will automatically turn into ashes." "How much does one cost?" Zhu Yanzhou asked again. 100,000. Pei Anzu opened his mouth and said, "You are a regular customer, so I will give you a 20% discount." Zhu Yanzhou pursed his lips and stretched out his hand towards Xiao Man. "Give me my mobile phone, count how many people there are in our team, and buy one for everyone. In the recent period, I have caused you to suffer." It is undeniable that Zhu Yanzhou is a good boss, and it is no wonder that his team members are loyal. There was so much trouble outside, but no one betrayed him. Xiaoman counted on his fingers. The entire core team of Zhu Yanzhou Studio, a total of 22 people, would cost 1.76 million for each person to have one talisman. Zhu Yanzhou got the mobile phone and transferred 1.8 million to Pei Anzu on the spot. This number is auspicious, and I'm grateful to Master Pei. Pei Anzu likes Zhu Yanzhou, a cheerful person. Counting it all, he alone made her earn more than 3 million yuan in one day. In an instant, she went from being poor to a wealthy woman with a small amount of money. At least the old Taoist priest doesn't have to worry about his medical expenses for the time being. She was in a good mood, so she said, "For the sake of our happy cooperation, I will give you 3 more talismans, giving you a total of 25. You can take a few more with you when you go out. After all, the other party is targeting you, and the people around you are just passing by." After finishing speaking, she opened the backpack she carried with her, took out the yellow paper and cinnabar she bought a few days ago, and took a brush to draw the talisman on the spot. The other 3 people in the ward stared intently. However, Pei Anzu drew the talisman like a child's graffiti. The brush was dipped in cinnabar and painted on the yellow paper. The incomprehensible lines connected into an incomprehensible pattern. One picture takes about 10 seconds, and the whole process is done in one go. If it hadn't been for the flash of light on the yellow paper every time she finished drawing the talisman, Sister Song and the others would have almost thought that Pei Anzu was deceiving others. Who in the world can make money so easily? Earning 80,000 yuan in 10 seconds makes capitalists cry when they hear it. But when I thought that this talisman could save my life, I felt that 80,000 yuan was not so unacceptable. Pei Anzu finished drawing the talisman, handed the talisman paper to Sister Song's hand, and then said, "In addition to life-saving formations on these talismans, I also drew formations to dispel bad luck. People in your studio should carry them with them. The bad luck on them will be gone in a short time. Remember to get plenty of sunshine, sunlight, and even yang things can dispel yin evil. In addition, I wish you the best, because you are so cheerful. I will give you another suggestion. If you want to prosper in the entertainment industry, you can try to do more good deeds. Do more good deeds, and you will be rewarded, and your merits will be added to your body, and you will be immune to all evils." Zhu Yanzhou's appearance is typical of ambition and desire, but he is not a bad person, and he can even be regarded as a rare clean stream in the big divat of the entertainment industry. Rely on your own ability to climb up step by step, do not do evil or use underhanded methods. It is precisely because of this that Pei Anzu is willing to give him guidance and remind him, hoping that he can go further in the entertainment industry, and does not want his life to be harmed by some underhanded means. "Thank you, Master Pei." Zhu Yanzhou nodded gratefully. As things were settled, Pei Anzu was ready to leave. Before leaving, she shook her phone at Sister Song and said with a smile, "You can come back to me next time if you have anything to do. I'll give you a 20% discount for regular customers." After speaking, she left Zhu Yanzhou's single ward. Following that, she went to the ICU floor and checked on the old Taoist priest's condition. After making sure that everything was fine, she returned to Shiyungan with confidence. She has to prepare for the second live broadcast. The last live broadcast date she announced on Weibo is tomorrow. After Pei Anzu left, Sister Song immediately asked Xiaoman to turn on his cell phone and take a video of Zhu Yanzhou to prove that everything was fine with him. Sister Song logged into Zhu Yanzhou's account, posted the video to Weibo, and added the text. "Zhu Yanzhou v. Thank you to all fans and media friends for your concern by Xin." As soon as the Weibo post came out, netizens left messages below one after another, and Sister Song also replied to them below in a Zhu Yanzhou tone to reassure people. "Brother Joe, there were rumors that you were near death. Is it true? Fake. Which person who is on the verge of death is still alive and kicking after only 7 or 8 days? Brother Joe, rumors say that you are unconscious in the hospital. Are you okay? Thank you for your concern. The sequelae of the car accident and the continuous filming have made me too tired. The coma is the body's self-recovery, and I am fine now. What do you think about the fact that Wu Yazhou cut off your resources? I'm probably watching while lying down. After all, I haven't been discharged from the hospital yet. Brother Joe, you must be well. We are still waiting for the release of Death Hunt. Thank you for your support. I will give you a signed poster when the time comes." I have to admit that Sister Song is a very good agent. She interacted with netizens in the tone of Zhu Yanzhou, with a serious tone mixed with a little ridicule, a serious tone mixed with a little humor, which not only clarified the rumors of the past few days, but also let people know that Zhu Yanzhou has recovered. Easily, Zhu Yanzhou was put on the hot search list, which greatly increased his sense of presence. Seeing the word explosion on the hot search, Sister Song couldn't help but sigh. The bad luck has completely dissipated, and free hot searches are here as soon as they come. Master Pei indeed has two brushes. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 17. Chapter 17 Second live broadcast. 9 o'clock in the morning the next day. Pei Anzu put on the Nyo mask and appeared in the Dolphin platform live broadcast room on time according to the time he had previously announced on Weibo. As soon as she started broadcasting, a large number of netizens poured in. In just a few minutes, the number of viewers has exceeded 30,000, which is 20,000 more than the last time. Except for the fans from last time, most of them came to watch the fun after watching the collection of hate videos on various platforms and the police briefings on Weibo. With such a grand occasion, it is hard for people to imagine that this is just a new anchor who has started broadcasting for the second time. Come, the anchor is here. Welcome to the Kingzu Immortal Lord. After being called out for a long time, I finally waited until Kingzu Immortal Lord started the live broadcast for the second time. Don't compete with me, I want to occupy a fortune-telling spot. I thought I was the only one here to see the anchor criticize others. Are you really here to tell fortunes? To be honest, I want to see them all. Who is the destined person who makes me Kong today, and what kind of twists and turns and bizarre stories will it bring us? We'll see. Why doesn't the anchor speak? Anchor. Pei Anzu sat there, quietly watching the barrages that kept flashing by, feeling the expectations and enthusiasm of netizens, feeling happy but also a little regretful. This time there were no mean-mouthed trolls to disrupt the situation, so she actually felt a little lonely. Hi, everyone, I am Kingzu Immortal. Welcome everyone to my live broadcast room. Pei Anzu waved and greeted the camera. Soon, barrages responded to her. Hello anchor, when will the anchor start telling fortunes? Anchor, do you think I look like your first destined person today? The anchor is about to start telling fortunes, I can't wait. Can't wait add 1. Can't wait add 10,086. Looking at the urging on the screen, Pei Anzu said. Today there are only 3 hexagrams in total just like last time, the hexagram is a villa with a sea view. Dear guests, please consider carefully if it is not absolutely necessary, please do not take up the quota out of pure curiosity. Money is a trivial matter, but fortune-telling involves cause and effect. A person's destiny has actually shifted the moment you start telling fortunes, which may affect the entire future. So, please consider carefully whether you must spend this money and tell your fortune. After the words fell, the barrage was quiet for a moment. In fact, most netizens in the live broadcast room are just watching the excitement, and they are just messing around to compete for places. Without an urgent reason, who would really spend money out of pure curiosity? So, no one has grabbed the spot for the time being. There are quite a few people who like Pei Anzu's live broadcast style and rewarded her with some scattered pearls and gems, which are not expensive, as a way of supporting her. But 3 minutes later, the special effects on the screen exploded, and someone rewarded the Sea View Villa. This netizen's name is Forget. Judging from the naming style, she looks like a young, artistic girl. Pei Anzu asked. This friend of love and never forget, would you like to take a calligraphy test or read a face? If you read a face, do you send a photo or live broadcast? Live online photo viewing, the other party replied, and then sent a video invitation. Pei Anzu clicked on the connection, and soon the screen was split into 2. As she expected, Love Never Forget was a young lady, about 25 years old, with a bun and energetic makeup, and she looked youthful. Everyone is curious, how could such a carefree girl come to tell fortunes? Pei Anzu looked at the other party's face and actually had some guesses in his mind, but he still asked in a routine manner. Hello, which aspect do you want to count? Love and Never Forget, the young lady replied with a shy smile on her face. I want to count my love. To be honest, King's a fairy lord, I have a boyfriend whom I love very much. We have been together for 2 years and our relationship has always been very good. I want to marry him, but my parents don't agree. I want you to help me figure out whether we can achieve success. After hearing this, Pei Anzu immediately said, "Listen to your parents and give up. There will be nothing going on between you and your current boyfriend." "Why?" The young lady was stunned. "Don't you need to read the horoscope? I see many couples getting married, and they need to read the horoscope to know whether they are suitable." Pei Anzu explained. "When people get married, it's because they are a serious couple. But I see from your face that your right fate has not yet come. Your current boyfriend is a rotten peach blossom, or even more serious, it is your peach blossom disaster. If you don't stop your losses in time and break up with your current boyfriend, you will be hurt because of him, and even your reputation will be ruined and your future will be ruined." When the young lady heard this, her face immediately became serious. "I do not believe. Kingzu, immortal lord, don't be alarmist, you have no idea how much he loves me. He would come to pick me up from get off work every day, rain or shine. He would make brown sugar water for me with his own hands when I had my menstruation and stomachache. I was included in every plan he made for the future. We have been dating for 2 years and have a deep relationship. How could something like what you said happen? I think you are a liar. Did you take money from my parents and say these words on purpose to break us up?" Pei Anzu. Looking at the young lady's righteous words, the veins on Pei Anzu's forehead jumped. Finally, she couldn't hold it in any longer, and she retorted. "He picks you up after get off work because he loves you. How do you know he didn't pick up someone else along the way? I love you when I have a stomachache and make brown sugar water. This kind of low-cost contribution makes you so moved. Your mother has cooked for you all your life. Why don't you be grateful to your mother? You are included in every plan for the future. Do you believe in the man who makes the big pie? I'm not telling you, but the zombies came to eat your brain and you had to spit it out. Why? Because love is poisonous to the brain. Miss Sister. Netizens. There is one thing to say, the anchor's mouth is indeed invincible. Little sister, be careful if your love brain is sent to dig wild vegetables. Ha ha ha, I learned something again today." The anchor criticized the young lady's boyfriend as worthless. Is there really something wrong with that man? The anchor doesn't look like a liar. Anchor, solve the puzzle quickly. Give you 3 minutes, we want to know all the information about that man. Since Pei Anzu scolded me, the young lady was confused. She was a little at a loss for a moment. With tears in her eyes, she asked. "But, these are the facts that he is good to me, don't they prove that he loves me?" Pei Anzu hates the fact that iron cannot be turned into steel. Based on the principle that saving a life can accumulate merit, she said. You can want a man to be handsome, you can want him to be rich, you can want him to be a potential stock, but you can't want him to be good to you. This kind of low-cost benefit can be taken back by him at any time. If one day he treats you badly, wouldn't you have nothing and the sky will fall? Besides, your boyfriend is not a good person, I have to prove it to you today. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 18. Chapter 18 Time Management Master. The young lady pursed her lips with a stubborn expression. Obviously, if Pei Anzu cannot produce conclusive evidence, she will not believe it. So, Pei Anzu asked. Do you have a photo of your boyfriend? It would be best if there is a birthday and horoscope. The young lady seemed to be anxious to prove what Pei Anzu said was wrong, so she hurriedly took out her mobile phone, pulled out a photo of her boyfriend, and told her his birthday. Pei Anzu looked at the man in the photo carefully, calculated it based on his date of birth, and then said. You go out now, take a taxi and walk eastward for about 2 kilometers. If you encounter a place surrounded by green trees and running water, stop. There you will see the evidence I gave you. The young lady took a deep breath, took her mobile phone and keys and prepared to go out. King Zufari Lord, I originally read Weibo and found out that you help the police catch criminals. I thought you would not be a liar, so I came to see you. But if I go to the place you're talking about and see no evidence, you'll lose all trust in me. I won't die during the live broadcast, and I don't believe that my boyfriend is the kind of person you say. You want to prove it to me, but I also want to prove it to you, that I didn't fall in love with the wrong person. As he said that, the young lady locked the door and left the house. She was lucky. A taxi passed by the gate of the community as soon as she arrived, so she got in the car and said, "Master, you drive 2 kilometers east and I'll get off the bus there." This was the first time the driver heard place names reported in this way, and he asked with some confusion, "Are you going to Baihu Park?" The young lady was not sure. 2 kilometers to the east, is it Baihu Park? Is it surrounded by lush green trees and running water? The driver laughed when he heard this. "You live so close, have you never been to Baihu Park? It's very famous there. It's a famous dating destination for couples in the city. It has mountains, water, trees, and flowers. It's so beautiful." The young lady was confused by the driver's words. Her mind is now filled with the words "a holy place for couples to date." So, the place King Zufari asked her to go is a famous dating destination for couples? Even the barrage became lively. 666. As soon as I heard the words couple dating, I had a bad feeling. The young lady's boyfriend can't be alone in a dating place for couples, right? So if it wasn't a person, who would he be dating? It's scary to think about it. Wow, I feel like I'm about to catch a rapist. This live broadcast room is getting more and more interesting. Decisively pay attention, I will definitely stay when the anchor starts broadcasting. It's only 2 kilometers, so you can get there quickly by car. The young lady got out of the car, paid the fare, and walked into the gate of Baihu Park. As the taxi driver said, Baihu Park is very beautiful and well planned. The entire park is divided into different corners, and each corner has a different theme. But without exception, these themes are all about love. Different theme corners are separated by rows of broad-leaved bushes, which not only blocks the view, but also isolates the sound to a certain extent, ensuring the privacy of the young couple's date. The young lady was walking on the cobblestone path. Every time you enter a corner by mistake, you will basically disturb a couple who are having with each other. She apologized awkwardly, and the audience in the live broadcast room had a great time eating melon, and even started a heated discussion. That couple just kissed so passionately. I saw it too, and the corners of my mouth were drawn. The couple on the stone bench under the tree had just opened their doors before. If Miss Love Never Forget hadn't wandered in by mistake, they would probably have started making humans in broad daylight, right? I can't see it, it's too boring. I am envious of others having girlfriends upstairs, but you are still single, right? Damn, life is already hard, why are you trying to expose me? Ha 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 ha. By Lian Never Forgets, looks red in the face. Go to where there is water, Pei Anza reminded her, fearing that she would wander into more places by mistake and disturb others' interest in romance. It was only then that the young lady remembered that what King Zhu Immortal Lord said at the beginning was surrounded by lush green trees and running water. A place with trees and water was the right location she was looking for. After walking for about 5 or 6 minutes, the young lady finally came to the water side. This was a lake called Baihu, and the whole park got its name from this. As soon as she arrived at her destination, she glanced around and didn't see her boyfriend. The young lady was about to speak, but her eyes froze. She was using the rear camera, and she was holding it up like this stupidly. All the scenes in front of her were captured by the camera, and she had an unobstructed view. Not far away, there is a man and woman kissing. The woman's back was to the young lady, and her face could not be seen clearly, but the man was facing her, and it turned out to be her boyfriend of 2 years. The clothes he is wearing are the latest ones that the young lady bought for him last month. Everyone in the live broadcast room had seen photos of her boyfriend before, and now they were excited when they saw this scene. Holy shit! Her boyfriend cheated on her. This is like stepping on two boats. This man is such a scumbag. Little sister, rush up and slap him twice, and then tell him to break up. Miss Kongaya, why don't you keep some for the new year? A group of people in the live broadcast room are trying to persuade each other to break up. But Miss Lian never forget stood still in a daze. Although her face could not be seen, her sobbing voice could be vaguely heard. She cried. No one could bear this scene, especially her boyfriend who had believed in her so much before. At this time, Pei Anzu spoke again. Little sister, if this evidence is not hard enough, then don't leave for now and just follow your boyfriend. You will open the door to a new world. When Pei Anzu spoke, she secretly used some tricks. She mixed in some King's-in Sutra. Hence, the words she spoke had the effect of calming the mind, and could also soothe the young lady's emotions, so that the young lady would not lose control too much. Sure enough, the young lady came to her senses and decided to do as Pei Anzu said. So, in the next few hours, the young lady saw what a true time management master is. At 9:25, in Baihu Park, he was on a date with a woman, kissing and touching each other. At 9:45, he left Baihu Park, took a taxi to the commercial street, bought a bouquet of roses, went to the train station, picked up a girl who came back from other places, and gave the roses to her. At 10:30, he sent the last girl home, then went to the cinema, and went to watch a movie hand in hand with a girl. 20 minutes later, he left the cinema on the pretext of working overtime at the company. At 11:10, he went to the pharmacy and bought a few boxes of cold medicine. He delivered them to a high-end office building and handed them to a girl. Then the two of them met in the mall for lunch. Little sister can't follow you any longer. Because she discovered that that scumbag had met so many girls, and none of them were the same. It turns out that what Kingzu Immortal Lord said is right. While he was picking him up from get off work and making brown sugar water for himself, he was not slowing down from delivering medicine to other girls, having dinner with other girls, and asking other girls to watch movies. In this scumbag's 24-hour-a-day life, she is just a dispensable filler. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. Is he cheating? The audience in the live broadcast room witnessed the birth of a time management master with their own eyes. They all joked on the barrage. I met 4 people in 2 hours, including the young lady. There were 5 in total. I don't know if there are more. After all, the day is not over yet. Is this what the legend says? If you step on 2 boats, the boat will capsize sooner or later. If you step on N boats, it will never capsize. Ha 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 ha, is this man a centipede? So many feet on so many boats. I said, no wonder I couldn't find a girlfriend, and his boy took over my co-writing. Little sister, don't be a coward. Go break up with him and give him 2 big ears. Send the video of his cheating to his company so that everyone can see his true face. I hope no more girls will be deceived by him. Me. My roommate Amway told me that there was something to eat in this live broadcast room, but it ended up being eaten by me. Tanlei, this dog coin, is also a fish in his fish pond with my mother? What? Is that Laolu upstairs? Got it, that's the 6th victim so far. The barrage is very lively. If the young lady in love never forget finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her at the beginning, she will be sad, angry, and painful. By now, she was numb. She looked at the barrage in the live broadcast room, found the sixth victim, and asked. Peach Blossom Jezzy, how long have you and Tanlay been getting along? This girl named Peach Blossom Jezzy is out putting like crazy on the barrage. 8 months ago, we met on a blind date. He was working out of town, and we were in a long-distance relationship. I didn't expect him to be such a bad person. Have a girlfriend and come back for a blind date? Do you have more than one girlfriend? The blind date introducer also told me that this dog coin is an honest person and doesn't talk much. I think he is an old man who doesn't tell many truths. Yeah, what a bastard. Netizens. When the young lady saw these words, she said. Add your contact information. I'm not willing to be deceived by him anyway. I can't get back the time and emotion I've spent in the past 2 years, but I have to get back the money I paid from him. Reply. Okay, I'll be the one to deal with the scumbag. I'll message you privately. After the two of them discussed it, Love and Never Forget wiped away her tears, first apologized to Pei Anzu, and then thanked him. I'm sorry, Kingzu Immortal Lord, I misunderstood you before. I didn't expect that he was such a person. Thanks to your reminder, I was able to see his true face clearly and not fall deeper into it. I'm going to end it with the scumbag now. When I resolve this matter, I'll thank you properly. After saying these words, hangs up the video. Although the person involved is gone, the aftermath of the whole incident is still very significant, and even the heat continues to simmer. Some enthusiastic viewers recorded the previous 2-hour live broadcast and posted it on Weibo, with thoughtful text. Hashtag take you to see what the ultimate Sea King is. Hashtag. Since the person who posted the post didn't have many fans, no one watched it for the time being, but it didn't take long before it was picked up by a marketing account. The video went viral, and the popularity of this matter continues to rise. Some people have even recognized several of the protagonists in the video, and the situation has gradually spread from the internet to the real world. Of course, this is a story for later. At this moment, Pei Anzu's live broadcast room welcomed the second destined person of the day. This destined person is named Ping Shui Yunfeng, and her avatar is a blooming hibiscus flower. Like the previous people, she chose to have her fortune telling via video. The video was connected, and Encounter by Chance's face appeared in the live broadcast room. She is a middle-aged woman about 40 years old, dressed intellectually and elegantly, with her hair tied into a low bun and a hairpin. The whole person looks like the kind of noble lady who comes from a scholarly family and has a good temperament. Encounter by Chance be the first to say hello. Hello, Lord Kingzu, I am your fan. I have been watching your live broadcast since the first time. I also believe in metaphysics. Actually, I wanted to ask you to help me tell my fortune last time, but I haven't been mentally prepared yet and have been hesitant until today. After hearing this, Pei Anzu nodded politely to her and asked. Hello, what aspect do you want to count? She is not just someone who can irritate others. When others are polite to her, she naturally has to treat them with the same attitude. I want to calculate my marriage. The noble lady hesitated for a moment and then explained, my husband and I have been married for 20 years. We have always had a good relationship and supported each other. However, in the past few months, I have found that there is something wrong with him. Something's wrong. Netizens in the live broadcast room heard her words and commented one after another. Leave. Must leave. Sister, believe in a woman's sixth sense. When you feel something is wrong with him, he has definitely betrayed you. 20 years of mutual affection are nothing compared to the flattering smile of the little goblin outside. This sister looks gentle and intellectual, she is beautiful, and she takes good care of herself. How would you not cherish such a good wife? Is that man blind? Is today's live broadcast room a special session for cheating men? Anchor, please show your strength and let us meet the next scumbag. Also saw these barrages, She pursed her lips and felt very embarrassed. She is different from the previous love, never forget. The other party is a young girl, energetic and not yet married. If she finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her, she can naturally seek justice for herself in a vigorous manner. But it is not so easy for her. The families, children, and social circles of both parties are all destined to make it impossible for her to break up with her at all costs. Pei Anzu looked at Meet by Chance's face and said, "You don't have to worry. Your husband has not cheated on you. Your marriage is going very well." As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. The comments on the barrage were filled with disbelief and doubts about whether the host had made a mistake. So Pei Anzu continued to explain. "Madam, you are a typical blessing. You are from a privileged background and have a good family background. You grew up with the love of your parents. You can be said to be truly incompetent in the sufferings of the world. You have studied well since you were a child, your life has gone smoothly, and you have never encountered any setbacks. After graduation, you will follow your family's arrangements and get married to a man of similar family background. This is called a marriage. But you will marry a good man. Your partner will be gentle, strong, and responsible, take care of your family and be motivated, and will be considerate to you. You have a son and a daughter. Your children are well educated. They are courteous, humble, and filial. Am I right?" Encounter by Chance. After hearing what Pei Anzu said, he nodded sheepishly. Indeed. Netizens in the live broadcast room were all envious. Holy crap! Are there really such good people in the world? Why can't it be me? The word envy is something I'm tired of saying. She has a good family background, studies well, marries well, and has good children. This aunt's life is really beyond my wildest dreams. Cry me to death, if only I had the same fate, I would never have such a hard life. But she also has troubles. Didn't she suspect that her husband was cheating? Didn't the anchor say that she thinks too much? Then did her husband cheat on her? Anchor, what's going on, please tell me. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. Risks and opportunities coexist. Pei Anzu ignored the barrages in the live broadcast room and continued. Madam, your life is destined to be smooth and smooth. If nothing happens, your family of 4 will be safe and smooth for the rest of your life. You and your husband will work together to support and accompany you until old age, and your children will make achievements in the fields they like. It's just that. An unexpected encounter. I was originally very happy that I had a good life, but when I heard Pei Anzu's words, I turned around and my heart suddenly lifted. Just what? It's just that I'm talking about a situation where there is no accident. Pei Anzu said, obviously, there is an accident in your family now, and it's your husband. Can you show me your husband's photo or horoscope? Convenient, convenient. Encounter by Chance nodded repeatedly and quickly showed it to her. Pei Anzu looked at the man's face, calculated it based on his birth date, and suddenly smiled. Madam, your husband is experiencing something that is difficult for ordinary people to understand. He is deeply troubled by it and is very anxious about it. But he didn't tell you because he didn't want you to worry, which is why you felt that he was hiding something from you. However, the things he encountered, whether they are big or small, are both risks and opportunities. If handled properly, your family will go further. What if it can't be handled well? Encounter by Chance asked anxiously. If you don't handle it well, your whole family may be harmed. This is not a matter of a couple quarreling or a marriage breaking up. It may endanger your life. Pei Anzu's face became serious. Meet by Chance. I immediately became nervous. Then is there a way to solve this matter, Kingzu Immortal Lord, can you help us? Okay, Pei Anzu nodded, but the 1,000 yuan you paid is just a fortune. Ask me to pay for it, which is another price. No problem. Meet by chance, he agreed without any shortage of money. As long as you can help solve this matter, no matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter. Okay, send me your contact information and address in a private message. I will come to you after I finish calculating today's third hexagram, Pei Anzu said. I was in a hurry to send a message. But the barrage is boiling again. Anchor is really a mudslide in the live broadcast industry. Other anchors want money, but don't want to give people the impression of cutting leaks to make money, but King Ziyanjun almost has the words "I want money" engraved on his forehead. Ha ha ha, I also discovered it. Regardless of whether she is a liar or not, at least she did it openly. Fortunately, I am poor and I don't have another price, laughing and crying. It's so funny, why do some people still suspect that the anchor is a liar? The police station even posted on Weibo to thank her for helping catch the criminal. Don't take things seriously upstairs, we are just joking. Pei Anzu received a private message from Encounter by chance. After the two agreed to meet offline, they hung up the video. Although the viewers in the live broadcast room are scratching their heads, this matter is obviously not something that can be solved by live broadcast. So, they could only suppress their curiosity about this matter and continue to watch today's third and final hexagram. The first two hexagrams took a bit long, and it is already past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pei Anzu made some calculations and realized that the third destined person did not appear so quickly, so she said to the netizens in the live broadcast room, "I'll have a meal first and then continue the live broadcast later." What she calls eating is actually just some solid food to fill her belly. After all, she is still live broadcasting and has no time to cook alone. When she sat back in front of the computer with 2 slices of bread and a bottle of milk, she saw that the screen was filled with messages from the audience. Pei Anzu thought to himself that there was nothing important to do at the moment anyway, so he chatted with the audience and answered their questions while eating, which was considered an interaction. She is now assigned official anchor. She needs to increase her fan stickiness and bring greater traffic and revenue to the platform, so that Kui Yun's S-level contract is not in vain. Anchor, can you eat in front of the camera? We want to see what you're eating. Milk and bread, very common brands, sold in supermarkets. Pei Anzu raised the things in his hand and shook them in front of the camera. If you eat the same thing as the anchor, will you also have the ability of the anchor to predict the future? What are you thinking about? You still breathe the same air as the Führer. Could it be that you are also the Führer? The anchor calls himself Immortal Lord, so why does Immortal Lord still need to eat? Everyone has to eat, but you definitely don't need to, because you are not a human after all. You call yourself the invincible Thunderbolt Dragonfly, so you must eat flies and mosquitoes, right? Anchor, you make so much money from live broadcasting, can you donate some to me? I am very poor and want to switch to a better phone with higher pixels. This is the first time I have seen such a confident person. By the way, why do you need a mobile phone with such high pixels? Do you still think you are ugly and not clear enough? Anchor, aren't you afraid of driving away the audience? You should please us and obey us now. After all, you rely on our rewards for your income. We are your food, clothing, and parents. You are really an old woman who got under the covers and made me laugh. You don't have a single fan base, but you still have the nerve to call yourself my food and clothing parent, and you still please and obey you. The old lady drinks gruel, which is shameless and obscene. Pei Anzu has always been a person who respects me afoot and I respect others afoot. The one who speaks well on the barrage, her gentle voice is like the spring breeze blowing on her face. She looks like a fairy who is free from the world and loves all living beings. The barrage is full of yin and yang, her breath is fragrant, and her mouth is like a sharp sword, which is bound to make the other party angry and speechless. So, she finished the meal while switching between these two emotions. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the third destined person appeared. The other party's nickname is Adventurer Xiaoying, and she seems to be a middle-aged and passionate person. She rewarded Pei Anzu with a sea view villa, and then immediately typed in the live broadcast room. Anchor, help, help, help. She used bold red fonts for these 3 words of help. The bright red exclamation mark was like an ominous omen, indicating that the other party was in danger. Pei Anzu frowned and took the lead in initiating the video link, and the other party quickly connected. Kingzu Immortal Lord. Help. Please save us. Resentment, Pei Anzu looked solemn. Why is there such deep resentment around you? Where are you now? In the haunted house. Adventurer Xiaoying huddled in a corner, shivering. Looking at the background in her video, it looks like it's in a very old place. The walls behind her are mottled, and dust is falling from the top of her head. She briefly told what happened in a trembling and panicked tone. We are students from the Adventure Club of Pingcheng F University. We were doing team building today. A senior student suggested that we go on an adventure to the famous haunted mansion. 6 of us came here, but now they are all gone. I've been looking for it for a long time, but I seem to be the only one in the house. I have no choice. I remembered that I'd seen your live broadcast before, so I decided to give it a try. End of this chapter.